And we're live! Hello, all, and welcome. And I am the Realist Philosopher, and this is the Realist Philosopher Show. Female Solipsism Edition. So, how you all doing today? Hope you're all doing good, fine, and well. So occasionally I do a theme-based show where I talk about one specific subject and one specific subject only. And this particular show is going to be focusing upon stories that revolve around, originate from female solipsism. Yes, the idea, the belief that, the mind has primacy and creates the world. Everything is subjective. There's no such thing as objective reality. Your truth is the truth. There's no actual truth separate from your truth. So, that's solipsism. And in particular, females love solipsism because, they're all about the fee-fees, the feels. So this episode will be devoted to stories that center around that. The fee-fees, female solipsism. All right. Now, I'm going to do things a little differently from now on in regards to people calling in because in the past, people without a brain, I guess, I don't know, they tend to phone in while I'm still talking about a subject and... I guess, then again, maybe it's not their fault. Do I ever stop talking? That's kind of the point of a show, right? But the way I'm going to do things now is after each story I've read, I'm going to open the phone lines and then give everybody out there a minute to Skype. And you'll see the Skype in the upper left-hand corner, the Realist Philosopher. That's the only way you can contact the show while the show is going. And by the way, for those of you out there commenting on the chats for whatever platform you're viewing this on, I'm sorry, but I don't read the chats while I'm doing this show. I stream this to too many platforms at the same time. I couldn't open up all these windows, but I do visit the chat after the show, especially D-Live, where people can make donations. So if you have a comment or a question you would like me to answer, and you're watching on D-Live, by the way, if you're not watching on D-Live and you'd like to, the link is in the description of this video. Make a donation, and after that donation, include your comment or question, and I will endeavor to answer it in the next show. Also, if you'd like to be on the show and be a guest and discuss a particular subject or problem, difficulty you might be having, email me at admin@therealistphilosopher.com. That's admin@therealistphilosopher.com. Now, let's jump to the first story. Woke and broke. Yeah, you go woke, you are going to go broke. So Gillette sees sales slump after its sexist lecturing advertisement talking about toxic masculinity. Imagine that. Imagine that. Men were not too happy with Gillette's pandering to feminists. And by the way, the person that produced and directed this commercial was a feminist. Yeah, I think one of her prior works was talking about how fruits look like vaginas and showcasing a whole bunch of fruits cut and paired in different ways to look like, female body parts, female poon, essentially. Yeah, because that's who you want directing and producing commercials for male products. Yeah, feminist, right? It's amazing how women are allowed to comment on and trash men ad infinitum, but whenever a man says something about a woman, you can't talk about a woman, you don't have a vagina. You're not allowed to have an opinion. It's very interesting how that only goes one way. So anyway, Procter & Gamble and Gillette decided to run razor ads trashing men and toxic masculinity in their new ad campaign. The company decided the best way to promote their product, the best way was to attack their customer base. That's brilliant. That's so brilliant. The new ad also highlights sexism and bullying by white males in the United States. Yeah. By the way, of the 40, this commercial, as short as it was, but it was longer than most commercials, right? 40 of the 43 abusive males. That's right, there were a lot more males in this than you realized. And all being trashed in regards to being white. So 43 of the abusive males in the ad, 42 of them were white. Yeah. 7 of the hero men out of 8 hero men were, get this, black. Woo! The ad is not doing so well, with many users promising to avoid the product. The ad had 642,000 downvotes after its first 2 days on YouTube. And of course, you had the usual virtue signaling, male feminist, soy boy, weakling, pinheads, and the actual feminist females trying to upvote it as much as possible. But, you know, the truth bared its ugly teeth. These people are just a very small minority of the American population, and the way they hoot and holler and scream is just to convince most people that they're actually a larger group than they actually are, because they couldn't get anywhere near the number of upvotes. They couldn't get anywhere near the number of downvotes, okay? They tried and tried and tried, but we're just too small a minority. I thought there'd be more of us. Yeah, you own the media. Yes, you own the media, but that's it. And the universities. But when it comes right down to it, they're a very small but vocal minority. Their big mouths make you think there's more of them than there actually are. Maybe that's why Gillette made such a stupid decision and actually decided to run with this ad, because of all these loudmouth leftists who had probably infiltrated their board of directors. I don't know, maybe they needed diversity hire some broads. I don't know. Where are their shareholders? Weren't their shareholders scratching their head and saying, wait a second, isn't our product for men? Should we be bashing men? Didn't they realize they're bashing men? Don't the shareholders of these companies have any say? I mean, how many of these women are actually shareholders? How many women hold shares in companies? Women don't invest their money. They spend it on shoes and handbags. But it gets worse. When you open the U.S. Gillette website, you get a pop-up ad lecturing men on abusive male culture. Oh, my God. The real problem here is that some men are continuing to buy these products. That's the problem. They're continuing to buy things from Gillette, give money to Gillette. No consequences. Not enough consequences. But they're seeing consequences now. Oh, my God. So it goes on to say, but when you open the Gillette Abs website for any other market, including Saudi Arabia, where men are taught to discipline their women, guess what you don't see? You don't see any anti-male advertisements. I find this very odd. So I would think that Saudi Arabia, which is an actual patriarchy, would be the place they would want to target the most with their toxic masculinity, change your ways, become more feminized message. But instead, they avoid sending that message there. Meanwhile, America, which already has a lot of feminized soy boys, we got rid of the Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts have been destroyed, which was the whole point. I think that the Boy Scouts itself was infiltrated by a bunch of male feminists and, whatever on their board of directors, women, whatever they were feminists too. I think these people who were working on the inside, who were working for the Boy Scouts and saying that they were doing what was in the best interest of the Boy Scouts, I think those people actually wanted to destroy the Boy Scouts. I think that was their main goal. And they succeeded. I mean, America is about as soy as you could get. Why would you target a country that has very little sexism, very little racism, in fact, the least in the world? That's something for you to ponder. And yet you would ignore those countries that have the most actual patriarchy, the most sexism, and the most actual oppression towards women. Oh, no, we're not going to target them. It's very interesting. Very interesting. I'll tell you who's running things, and it ain't men. It ain't a patriarchy. Yeah. You won't see any anti-male ads. It's only U.S. men that have a problem with oppressing women. But they're losing money. This is great. So sales have dropped for their grooming products. It's good. That's good. Maybe they'll learn a lesson, but I don't think so. The problem with leftists, they're not too good at critical thinking or, looking down the road at possible consequences to their actions or understanding economics or markets, which is why they embrace socialism so much. So I doubt it. I doubt it very much. Oh, boy. All right. So if you'd like to comment on that story, where the hell's the... Where's Skype? Oh, let me move that little... Hey, this is what annoys me. Every time I close my window and close down my computer, I open it up again, all my little thumbnail icons have moved. Where are they going? Oh, yeah. I try to put them in the places I want them, and then they move again. Anybody out there can tell me how to make them stay in place, that would be great. All right, so if you'd like to give me your opinion on what Gillette did, I have the line open for 1 minute here. Yeah. Can you imagine shooting yourself in the foot like that? It's like, I'm selling bras to Wayman. I'm going to ridicule Wayman and tell them they're big fat land whales and then still expect them to buy my product. That's great. Or something more apropos would be diet products. Can you imagine Jenny Craig insulting their customers? Hey, ladies, if you're a big fat land whale, that's a bad thing. Come on down and buy our products, fatty. Yeah, sure. Why wouldn't they, right? You've only insulted them. Sure, it's actually an objective reality bad to be a big fat slob, right? You're taking a lot of money out of other people's pockets in the form of public health care dollars, right? But you don't care. Just like that story I talked about last night about the big fat broad that thought that dieting and people pushing the idea of dieting was some kind of violence. And what was she advocating for? People subsidizing her food. I shouldn't have to lose weight. You should have to pay for my food. Yeah, okay. All right, so the Skype is The Realist Philosopher. That is The Realist Philosopher. I guess somebody wants to comment on what happened with Gillette, so I'll close out Skype and move on to the next story. All right. Yeah. Well, why would you hire a woman? I don't understand this. That would be like hiring some dude, right? So it affects somebody who has the exact opposite ideological worldview of a company that has essentially had a very different message from the one that was put forth in this commercial. That would be like hiring like the Marlboro Man, chomping on some chaw to essentially sell feminine hygiene products. I'm a real man, bitches. Get in the fucking kitchen. Make me a fucking sandwich. Since you're not enough like a traditional woman anymore to cook anything. Here, buy our tampon, bitches. That's exactly what Gillette did. Would you ever see that? Would you ever expect to see that from a feminine hygiene company? No. Who's thinking this is a good idea? Female solipsism, right. It'll be a good idea if I make reality into such that it'll be accepted as a good idea. Yeah, okay. That's crazy. Oh, boy. All right. Anyway, this next story is some funny stuff. So some broad, anybody ever heard of this broad named Sophie Monk? Apparently she's some reality TV star. Good-looking broad for 40, I'll give her that, although the pictures I was seeing might have been 10 years old for all I know. But this broad, Sophie Monk, I never heard of her. Maybe you have. Sophiemonk, Sophie Monk, go check her out. Well, she is flabbergasted that she's not happy. She's flabbergasted and disappointed and depressed that her life did not turn out the way she wanted it to. I thought I'd have 4 children and be married by now. Yeah, I bet you did, honey. I bet you did. Sophie Monk says her dream of a normal life isn't going to happen after 2 decades in the spotlight as she prepares for her 40th birthday, which is already come and gone at this point. So she spent more than 2 decades in show business. Again, I've never heard of her, so, how successful is she really, right? But Sophie Monk has often prioritized her career over a stable and happy personal life. Okay. If this broad had a career like Robin Williams or something like that, Denzel Washington, then I would say, maybe it was worth the sacrifice. But I never heard of this broad. It turns out all she's done is a bunch of fucking reality TV shows. So she can't even act. She's just good looking. And now she's 40. But Sophie Monk has often prioritized her career, as she approaches her 40th birthday, the former Bachelorette. That's how she got her start back in 1999. She was on The Bachelorette. Yeah, we saw how well that worked out. She's single. Never married. No kids. Admits her life hasn't turned out anything like she expected. Typical female solipsism, right? I think it's perfectly reasonable to focus on my career and being a minor celebrity like a D-list comedian like Kathy Griffin, but not even that successful, and expect to still find a man and have 3 kids. No. No. It turns out when you're a D or E-list celebrity, you still have to work a lot, oftentimes more than A-list and B-listers. Yeah, imagine that. Because you've got to fucking put your nose to the grindstone because you want to be that A-lister. Sweetheart, I think if you were going to be an A-list, B-list celebrity, you would be one by now after 20 years. You really don't have very much talent. You're just a good-looking broad, and you're not even that good-looking anymore. Oh, well, yeah, she admits her life hasn't turned out anything like she expected because you had unrealistic expectations, honey, because of feminism. I thought I'd have 4 children and be married. 4 children. I work full-time, 60, 80 hours a week. I have no time. I'm constantly traveling, but I thought I would have 4 kids by now. Baffles me. I don't get it. So I thought I'd have children and be married. Why would you think that? Who gave you this idea that you can spend 20 years focusing entirely on your career and that without looking for or aggressively focusing on, or at least in a minor way focusing on finding a partner, that you're going to find somebody that wants to have kids with you? You know, men are very much cost-benefit oriented when we look at relationships. And if I were to get with you in a banging situation, I would be weighing the pros and cons. Okay, you know, this broad works a ton. She travels a ton. Is she going to be there for me, let alone any kids? Is she going to be able to have any kids? Is dating her a waste of time? Is there going to be any serious relationship here? Or is it just a complete waste of time? Is she nothing more than a short-term booty call? Oh, well, once I've weighed all the pros and cons, she's a short-term booty call. And hey, she's hot, and she hasn't had any fucking kids, so the plumbing is still in pretty good shape. So, yeah, okay. I'll bang her for a while, but that's it. I don't know why she thinks any guy would take her seriously as far as being marriage material. She's not. Parents today don't seem to understand how reality works, and they don't teach their kids how it works either. Because, oh, yeah, I'm a feminist. I bet her mommy was a feminist, and she had no daddy, and if she did have a daddy, he was a pussy, obviously. Yeah. No, nobody's teaching these people how reality works. God. Because, of course, they think there is no such thing as objective reality, right? Female solipsism. Oh, boy. Reflecting on her career, Sophie said, I think I'd be in this industry. I thought I'd be in this industry for a little bit and then get out and have a normal life where I'd pick up the kids from school. You're in an industry that requires tons of traveling. I mean, if any of you have ever known or talked to a celebrity, especially minor celebrities, they actually oftentimes end up working more than high up there A-B-list celebrities. So she's traveling around constantly filming different projects. You have no time to meet anybody. I mean, you hook up with guys for, pump and dumps, but any of these guys are going to look at you, they're going to evaluate you and say, no, she's good for a pump and dump. That's it. But I've realized that's not going to happen. It took you 20 years. Took you 20 years. This is the problem with good-looking broads. When they're very young, they rely on their looks. They've gotten everything from their looks. They're not too bright. They haven't had to work to become too bright because they don't have to work too hard to stand on their own 2 feet. They've always been used to men taking care of them. And this broad's a solid 9+. Maybe she was a 10 when she was 20. I don't know. But she's definitely a good-looking broad, at least from the pictures I've seen. So, yeah, good-looking broads, they don't really have to fall back on any inner reserves they might have. And they don't have to really marshal and develop their intelligence or develop any real marketable skills outside apparently being just an airhead that's good-looking and has a nice rack. Well, so, yeah, you're lacking in critical thinking skills. And now you're wondering why it's not going to happen. It took her 20 years to figure out. Yeah, she's dimmer than most. Sophie first rose to fame in 1999 as a contestant on the reality show Pop Stars. She later performed in the pop band Bardot for 3 years. I've never heard of this. What is this? So let me get this straight. Instead of finding yourself, and she's a great-looking broad, and when she was younger, super hot. So, I mean, I'm assuming. I'm looking at her picture now, and then I'm doing kind of a mental, backwards ticking in time, and I would guess that she looked even better. So, yeah, you could have found yourself a good guy, makes good money, you could have had kids, you could have been happy, you could have developed virtues. And this is another reason why so many good-looking broads these days have no virtue, because they don't have to. They're good-looking. And I've been with quite a few good-looking broads that they're generally speaking lacking in character development and virtue. So, yeah. Yeah, she realized it's not going to happen after 20 years. And performed in some pop band I never heard of for 3 years. Oh, I bet you rode a lot of cocks during that period. Yes, I prioritized riding lots and lots of big cocks. And now I'm 40 years old and I can't even get the big cocks anymore. And I also have no kids and no family. Growing up famous, Sophie first rose to fame. Okay, so the line is there twice? That's annoying. Who edits this shit? Fuck, that's annoying. It's the same line twice. Okay. Since then, she has appeared in various films. I've never heard of her. A very minorless celebrity. I mean, at least I've heard of Kathy Griffin. And I consider her to be D-list nobody. And TV shows as an actress. Hosted Love Island, Australia, and served as a breakfast radio presenter. What? She's pretty fucking minor as a celebrity. This is the best you've done in 20 years? The only reason she's been an actress in anything, probably straight to video, right? Straight to Netflix, if any of the crap she was in even made it on Netflix. This is the best you could do. So you gave up a family to be a nobody? I've never heard of you. Yeah, it's not like you're Denzel Washington or that nut job Whoopi Goldberg who did some moderately funny movies back in the 80s. In 2017, she even attempted to find love on The Bachelorette. Oh, I bet that worked out well. 38-year-old broad on The Bachelorette. Yeah! I don't think so. You're already way post-wall, honey. I mean, you're good-looking broad, don't get me wrong. But 38? Yeah, not pulling it off. Nobody's interested in a 38-year-old over-the-hill broad. Sophie's personal life has been well documented over the years. That's how she makes a living. I'm surprised she's not one of these Instagram thoughts. And her former flames include millionaire Stu Laundrie. I'd love to have been a fly on that fucking wall to see how that failed. But I bet she blames him. And good Charlotte rocker Benji Madden. Never heard of this person. Okay. And she's pictured in the article with her niece because, of course, she has no kids. I need proxy babies. My biological clock is ticking out of control, but I realize I'll probably never have kids. So at least I can have proxy babies through my sister. Yeah, isn't that great? She'd have probably blown her own fucking head off if she didn't have that sister with kids. She's currently in a relationship with businessman Joshua Gross. 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 I hope he's anything but. But I mean, then again, a 40-year-old broad, however good looking she is, she should be willing to settle for the guy that pumps gas or the janitor at the local elementary school. Honestly, a woman at this age, she's had how many relationships? It seems like they're emitting quite a few. She's been in a lot of relationships. She's had a lot of failed relationships, and everybody knows it. But she's expecting to find herself a good man. I'm going to tell you what. I think you're just a pump and dump for this Joshua Gross. You're just a long-term pump and dump, okay? Yeah, who first met last year on an international flight. Last year is in late last year. They've been in a relationship probably 5 or 6 months. Ooh, I'm sure that's going to last. Yeah, like other relationships did. Yeah. Oh, my God. She's currently appearing as a panelist on Talking About Your Generation. There's no A, by the way. What did a black person write this? Talking About Your Generation. Never heard of that show. Another thing she's been in I've never heard of. Excuse me, allergies. So not only is she not even a has-been, she's a never was. This seems like a really bad trade-off to me. You give up having kids, having a relationship, a loving husband, for what? Where's the satisfaction you're going to get? I mean, the shows that she's been on are so crappy, they're not even going to get reruns. By the way, don't shows have to have been on a certain number of seasons to get reruns? Something like 5 seasons or something? Right? I mean, even that crappy show, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is in reruns somewhere because it ran for 5 years. The same with that horrible show, Angel. about the vampire that, turned good, but he couldn't fuck anybody because if he had sex, he'd turn evil. Stupid show. But anyway, wow. So she don't get it. She's 40-year-old, good-looking broad. Oh, get this. She froze her eggs. She's already taking steps to freeze her eggs in case she wants to have children one day. One day? Lady, you got fucking cobwebs up in that poon, right? What are you talking about one day? Your womb is dusty. It's dried out. What one day? What are you talking about one day? One day? What one day? Tomorrow? Oh my God, she froze her eggs. When? When did you freeze them? I hope it was a long fucking time ago, honey, because after your 20s, the quality of your eggs diminishes significantly. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if she decided at 40, I'm going to freeze my eggs now? Really? At 40? Gonna pop out that Quasimodo, right? Except he doesn't have a Notre Dame to crawl around the fucking rafters anymore because some Muslim burnt it down. Allegedly. I'm gonna have kids one day. Bitch, do you know you're 40? Maybe at 50. Yeah. Because in her world, 40-year-old broads can still have kids and happy families and successful relationships and deny reality. There's no such thing as reality. Everything's my reality, my truth. Yeah. It's great. I love it. I love it. All her D-list fucking acting jobs. E-list, really. And she still can't find happiness. I'm chasing the dragon still, and that dragon is happiness. But as a woman, I can't seem to find it, and I don't know why. I know why. So if you'd like to comment on this story, please feel free to Skype me at The Realist Philosopher. That is The Realist Philosopher. I will keep the Skype open for the next minute if you'd like to call in. Please have something significant to contribute. Well, or just something about this actual story. It's crazy. I don't get you women out there. You wait until you're 40, and you think that some kind of Prince fucking Charming is still going to come along because you see yourself the same way you were when you were 20. Meanwhile, a guy looks at you, he's like, I'm a white guy too, so I can spot your age. You know how it's more difficult for people of different races to judge the ages of other races. That's why white people so often think that Asian people look younger. It's really not because they do. It's just because they're a different race and there's slightly different markers that signify certain ages in regards to them being Asian than if you were white. So there's just some differences in that. And if you were Asian, you'd automatically spot it, right? I get that a lot from Asian people. They look at me and they think I'm younger than I am. But, most white people, well, okay, I actually probably do look a little younger. I don't know. That's crazy, though. Yeah. I'm 40, but I feel like I'm 20. No, you're still 40, honey, and most men can tell. And when they hear your history, failed relationship after failed relationship, when men ask you about your past, they're not just making civil conversation. A smart guy is going to do a little digging. And when he hears all these fucking failed relationships and that you've never been in a successful long-term relationship and you're 40 years old, they'll be like me as an employer. And I'm interviewing you for a job, and you tell me at the age of 40, I've had 28 jobs since I was 20. Really? And you've never had a job that lasted more than 6 months. Yeah, I might not hire you. I might come to the right conclusion that you are not a stable individual, that you are not somebody that I will invest my time or resources in. Hello? Men make these same kind of assessments when they're deciding whether or not a woman is a good investment in a long-term relationship, because life is only so long and you only get one of them. Do I want to invest possible years in you when you're really a bad investment, when you're not going to pay off? No, I do not. All right, so nobody wants to call in using Skype, so I'm going to close Skype out and move on to the next story. All right. Oh, this is great. Wow, this... Wait a second, I need more coffee for this. Well, maybe I don't need more coffee. Oh, shit, I don't know. I seem to be buzzing along pretty fucking good. Maybe I need maybe I need a little less coffee. All right. Listen to this. Typical female entitlement. It was sexism. That's the bottom line. Female jogger. Awarded a prize pack for finishing first in fun run, slams organizers after learning the top 3 men were given money, and she wasn't. Okay, so she was essentially the first woman in the race, but the race was run by both men and women competing against each other, and the top 3 winners were, guess what? They were men! Even though women are always bitching and moaning about how they're not treated equally, they want to be treated equally, but really only when it comes to the benefits. When it comes to the downsides of equality, meaning that if you compete against a man on an equal playing field and he beats you, oh, I cry foul! I cry foul! That's not equality. It really is, actually. You're being treated exactly the same way, but, you know, they want all the benefits, but none of the downsides. So, Alex Blake, 25, participated in the QUT Classic Fun Run on Sunday, coming in first as the first woman. She didn't come in first. She was the first woman. A man came in first. She didn't come in first. She probably came in like 187th or something, beaten by every fucking man in that race. The avid jogger was awarded a prize pack. You got a fucking prize pack? You should be happy with that. Women are never happy, okay? If a man does better for whatever reason, they got to do as well because vagina. For placing first female. What does that mean, first female? I understand. You want special treatment? Is that it? I thought you wanted to be treated equally. Look, all right. I understand you want some kind of special fucking treatment. Everybody under the sun wants to be treated special. But that's not how reality works. If you want to be the first place winner, go be in a race that's all woman. Go be in a race, start your own race where there's no men and it's just women, which is great. They lobby and cajole and bitch and moan so they can get into the men's race, and then they complain when they are forced to compete against the men on a level playing field. What's going on here? I don't get it. So the female winner of the running race has accused organizers of sexism. It's actually the exact opposite. After she was not awarded the same prize as her male counterpart, who won the race. What they're failing to tell you here is he was the winner. He was the winner. He beat everybody, including this bitch, who's complaining she's a loser. You're a loser, honey. Loser. 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 She's being a bad loser, too. Jesus Christ. I lost the race. Give me money. Fuck you. Unbelievable. She took part in the Queensland University of Technology Classic Fun Run on Sunday and was the first woman to finish the 5-kilometer race. Try running a fucking marathon, bitch. 5 kilometers. Fuck off. But the avid jogger's victory felt hollow. After learning the top 3 male winners received a $300 check while she was only given a prize pack. They neglect to tell us what was in the prize pack. It could have been some good shit, right? Could have been some tampons, some feminine hygiene products, maybe one of those little fucking fanny packs or something. Tiara to make you feel special. What do you want? You lost. You were in the same race as the men. They're giving you what this is unbelievable to me. It's like they don't know what the word equality means. It's a synonym for same, bitches. It means the same. Same. I want to be treated the same as men. Same. What the fuck don't you get about that? Now you get what you want, and you're still not happy. So, we want to get into the race and compete with the men. They keep us out of the race. We want to be in there and treated the same. You get what you want. You're still not happy because you lost, but you weren't given money for losing. Oh, my God. Okay. In 2019, I rarely feel discriminated against as a female. Oh, but you still do feel discriminated against, right? Even though I don't think you're ever discriminated against. I don't think that ever fucking happens, okay? Especially in running. Who discriminates against you in running? Running's a thing? It's a community? It's a world? There's people running around and you're being discriminated against as a runner? How? Oh, the men won't let me run in that park. It's nobody discriminated against you as a runner. Shut the fuck up. You got to make yourself a victim in your own mind. However, today I did. No, you didn't. You got treated the exact same as the men and held to the exact same standard. I don't like that. I need special consideration. I don't want to have to be able to do 10 pull-ups to get into the army and 50 push-ups. You need to give me special treatment because I can't compete with the men. But I want to be in the same situation and working beside them, but I want different standards. Oh, that's not equality. What a dumb bitch. And you expect me to take you seriously? The place getters in the male race all took home money. Oh, you craven bitch. You craven greedy bitch. The women got nothing. Guess what? You'd have got something if you'd have placed in the top 3. Train a little harder. Try to overcome the biological barriers which you say don't exist. Reality's just a construct, right? I'm as fast and as strong as the man. And then when that turns out not to be the case, give me money anyway. Ugh. The men got to cross a ribbon banner. The women did not. What? Oh, you got somebody ticking the... Oh, okay, wait. That man. Keeping track to see who the first woman was. I mean, come on. These race organizers got enough to fucking do without having to, is that a woman? Man. Oh, that's a woman. But is she the first woman? I don't know. There's 28,000 fucking people running this race. I can't keep track of the first woman to cross the line. It's crazy. This is so crazy. Oh, boy. Making me crazy. Blake said in a Facebook post, bitch and moan on Facebook. So she said she was disappointed to not get any money. I'm disappointed people don't give me free money too. Blake also took part in the race last year and accused the organizers of sexism. Yeah. I'm not a very good runner. I'm not as good as the men anyway. And it really chaps my ass that this race is essentially disproving my feminist theories. So, I'm going to bash him and call him sexist. When she approached university officials about the issue, Blake said she was told she should have placed in the top 3 if she wanted a cash prize. Yeah! And by the way, what do you think? This race, they're made of money? What do you think they're getting the money? I mean, okay, so the people who enter the race, they play it oftentimes, but not always. I don't know. It's been a lot of years since I competed in one of these races, but you pay like a small entry fee or something like that. The money comes out of that, okay? You also have race organizers, you have volunteers, but some people have to get paid. There's a lot of planning, there's a lot of equipment, there's licenses to pay for, roads have to be closed off, you have to get permits. It's expensive to arrange and permit a fucking race. There's only so much money to go around. And you have a fucking winner's purse, and the top 3 winners of almost $1,000. Then you've got these prize packs, and I don't know how many people are getting these prize packs, but probably quite a few. Jesus Christ, in this entitlement society that we live in now, with people getting fucking medals and trophies for showing up. Hey, you got a pulse. I'm going to give you a trophy. Well, trophies ain't free. So, I think it's as much a lack of resources as anything else. They have to essentially, put aside the money for a very small group. I don't think they probably can't afford, in practical terms, to have 2 different categories, men and women. And by the way, that's a very good point. You women have been pushing for equality for years and years and years, and now we're treating you equally. Top 3. Just like in the fucking Olympics, you got gold, silver, bronze. Top 3. That's tradition. Women have been getting special treatment for years, competing in the same sporting events with men, but held to a different fucking standard. If you want to compete with men, you should be perfectly okay with being treated equally. She doesn't want equality. She wants special treatment. Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She said she didn't feel compelled to speak out. And she, until that she spoke with the race director, who she claimed remained unapologetic. Yeah. Oh, she's a leftist. I bet that really pissed her off, right? He didn't apologize for doing nothing. He treated me just like everybody else. God damn it. But I've been treated special my whole life. How dare he? So she goes on to say it isn't about the money. then why are you complaining about it? It is great. You always complaining on Facebook, and you make a point of essentially going and talking to the race director after the fact about this. But it's not about what you're going to talk to him about and what you're bitching on Facebook about. It's not about that. That's all it's about. You just want money. Typical woman. Sometimes there are no prizes. It's just ridiculous because a female is never going to place the top 3. Well, there's the truth, isn't it, bitch? The inconvenient reality comes home to roost. Well, guess what, bitch? You women have been lobbying to be participants in male sports forever. I remember the first Boston Marathon that a woman ran in. She was fucking shadowed by a bunch of men, so race organizers couldn't see that it was a woman. I think she might even pretended to be a man. And then the guy that organized the race tried to chase her and grab her and assault her, and he had to be physically accosted and thrown to the ground by one of this woman's friends, and she was the first woman to compete. And this guy was pissed because he didn't want women in the race. Hello? It's the right of any fucking American. Any American has the right to discriminate. I don't want women in my race, but you've pushed your way in, and now the balls on this woman. Not only do they push their way in, but they demand you change the rules and give them special treatment. All races were male races. Women pushed their way into all these fucking races. And now they're demanding special treatment. We not only want to be in your race. There's rules. This is another thing I don't like. She entered the race knowing the rules. If she didn't, that's her fault. But there were rules in place. It was your job to know what those rules are. Don't be pissed because you participated and didn't know what the rules were, and then were disappointed that you didn't get a cash prize. I'm quite sure that if she had done a little research, they probably have a fucking website. Cash prizes only for top 3 finishers, which are going to be men, of course. I mean, unless, of course, you try to enact equality the way women want it to be enacted, which is remove all the men from the race, or only have gimpy men with, like, one leg and then a fucking half leg, or, one guy with, like, a fucking wooden peg leg, or, like, it's like most of the men running in the race either have peg legs or one leg, and they have to hop the whole race. Oh, that's the kind of equality women want, right? But you give them actual equality, and what do? They bitch and they fucking moan. It's not about money. It was sexism, and that's the bottom line. Yeah, she's an idiot. What an idiot. It's the exact opposite of sexism. She's so dumb she didn't even see it. Because these people, they don't think critically. And they just don't get what they want, and they cry sexism. Blake added that she was not concerned over the actual cash. Lie. Because the money she wins from races go toward her running gear and coaching. So some of the races you're in are paying actual money to the women. They ought not be. They ought not be if there's men and women running in them. And you are not among the top 3 finishers. All right. Wow, it goes on and on. Jesus Christ. Boy, she can bitch and moan, can't she? God, women don't get what they want. They just... This bitch is a nag. Yeah, she ain't going to find herself a husband. What man wants this broad? My God. You don't give her what she wants. Jesus Christ, there's another page and a half here. Fuck this. I ain't reading all this. I think I got to the meat of it already. So what do you think of this broad? Is she an entitled cunt with unrealistic expectations who really doesn't understand how equality works, or is she perfectly reasonable? If you'd like to give me your thoughts, feel free to Skype me. My name on Skype is The Realist Philosopher. That is The Realist Philosopher. Wow, just so much. I just flabbergasts me. The mindset of young women. 25. God. Is that a millennial? I don't know how the whole scale works. Like, what year? I mean, you're born in what year to be a millennial? I don't know. I mean, I remember the Beatles, so I'm not a millennial, but remember the Beatles, remember the fucking Monkeys. Jesus Christ. But God, that's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. If you're going to compete with men and you don't beat the men, don't complain. Oh, yeah. Don't complain. They had prizes. They were doing them. Oh, it's Sith. Okay, Sith, that's Sith. Hello, Sith.
How are you, sir?
I'm okay. How you doing?
I'm fine. I've been hearing about that marathon runner, that bitch.
Who?
The runner.
Oh, the runner. Okay. Yeah. So what would you like to say about that?
Well, I would like to say that women on average are 90, can only do 90% of what a man can run. About that, they can never be equal to men, even if given steroids and enhancing drugs. They'll always be slower, less stronger, of course. Biology doesn't care about your feelings.
Yeah, and even she admitted it. Even she said, because, it's unrealistic for them to, for anybody to think that a woman could, in a running race, be in the top 3 overall winners. Well, but that's how the rules were for this race. I mean, they probably said beforehand she just failed to do her research, so she, quote unquote, expected to get the same special treatment she had before. I'm a good runner as a woman. I can't compete with men, but, they have these 2 special categories. We managed to bully our way into these races, and now we get the special treatment of having a separate category and getting a prize, even if we lose, to the men. And she was expecting a prize, and she didn't get one. She got treated equally, and now she's crying inequality, which just shocks me. She doesn't seem to know what the word equality means.
Because women are children. Because women are children, they can never be held accountable. They behave like kids. That's why she's throwing a tantrum like a 6-year-old kid. 6-year-old kid. That's all.
It's crazy. And I think that they ended up buckling and giving her some money. I think that she might have gotten some money anyway. If I recall, I think they, wanted to avoid any kind of a lashback, a kickback from the media. So they said, okay, we'll give her a cash prize or something. I don't know what she's complaining about.
Is she attractive?
Yeah, she's a good-looking broad. I looked at her picture. I mean, she's a runner, and she won in the women's. She was the first woman, so she got a good body, and she's a good-looking broad.
That's why they gave her money, because she's attractive. That's why.
I think they just wanted to shut her up, too. I mean, honestly, it's just how women are. They nag until they get what they want, and they've learned that if they pull out the sexism card and cry sexism and discrimination, they'll get a cash prize, and they usually do.
Pretty much like a children when he cries to have a, can you give me that toy, please? Yeah. Please, Dad, give me that toy.
It's crazy. Yeah. What's surprising is that people don't seem to understand that this kind of perverse incentive where you're rewarding bad behavior, well, guess what? It's just going to encourage more bad behavior. I mean, that's become the norm now. It's not normal, but it's become the norm. And the sad thing is that encouraging this behavior, it actually harms women more than it does men. I mean, I'm perfectly happy. I don't think people understand that the people who are being impacted least by this type of petty, childish behavior is men. Because we don't want to deal with these bitches, and now we don't have to. We're perfectly happy in most cases being alone, but women, they don't do so well by themselves.
Well, it's projection. Women project what they desire in men and what they do not desire in men. That's why.
Yep.
It's all projection.
Well, thank you, Sith and Sith, for calling in. I appreciate getting your 2 cents worth. You take care, buddy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. I was Sith, a longtime fan of the show. Yeah, women are, it's really crazy how essentially what they do, I think what he was trying to allude to there is how they think men and women are equal, right? They make the mistake of then taking their own wants, their own needs, their own desires, and essentially putting those on men. Oh, well, this is what I want, this is what I need, so it must be what men want and need too, because feminism has taught me that men and women are equal. No. As you should have learned from this race, which is an objective, I mean, that Jesus Christ, if you could ever have an objective, maybe I do need more coffee. Yeah, let me pour myself another cup here. But if you ever needed an objective example of how men and women are different, look at the outcome of this race. And she even admitted it herself. How could they expect a woman to place in the top 3 overall? Where's that? Talk about cognitive dissonance. So you realize that in terms of running, but you don't apply that to every other aspect of humanity, of men and women. Like human behavior, varying and being different between the sexes, Oh, that's only physical stuff. You got a lot of feminists who don't even acknowledge that. Men and women are equally strong. You get that Brie Larson running around. I'm just as strong as Chris Hemsworth, whatever his name is, the guy that plays Thor. Oh, I'm stronger even. What are you, like a buck? What are you, 90 pounds? What are you, 90 cents? You're not even a buck. What is she, 100 pounds, baby? Oh, get out of here. She has no ass. No muscle on that body. Come on. You're not stronger than him, bitch. Come on. Talk about denial of reality. Anyway, let's move on. All right. Oh, it's just crazier. I should call every show I do Crazy Shit, because it seems like all this news is crazy. All right, so next nonsense that would fall under the banner of female solipsism. Listen to this. This is so nuts. The global elites must really want the human race to die out. So handshakes could be banned under new workplace rules to avoid expensive sexual harassment claims. Oh my God. So handshakes could be banned under new workplace rules to avoid expensive sexual harassment claims, an expert has said. I'm confused. How exactly is a handshake sexual assault? I don't get it. Shaking hands can be considered sexual assault? This is very odd. Kate Palmer, an associate director of, and by the way, didn't a lot of people used to meet in the workplace? I mean, where are you going to meet people now? You spend much of your day at work. You go home. What, are you going to meet them on the subway? I think I met like one or two broads I banged on the subway, but no relationships came out of it. What the fuck? I mean, the workplace is probably one of the best places to meet the opposite sex because, hello, you already have a pretty good indicator that they share some of the same interests as you because they're doing the same work as you. So that right there already gives you a moderately decent foundation to build upon and meet people who are similar in mindset to you. But no, you can't. You can't hug. You can't shake hands. A lot of these workplaces have no fraternization policies. Fucking hey. And of course, it's mostly white people because it's mostly white people that work in these offices. Oh, God. And in professional jobs. All right, so Kate Palmer, an associate director of advisory at HR Consultancy Peninsula, said employers may ban all forms of physical contact to avoid confusion about what kind of touch is appropriate. There's confusion about what's inappropriate? I don't understand. I grab your ass, that's inappropriate. I grab your tits, but we're not dating. That's inappropriate, right? We haven't banged. We're not in a serious relationship, and we never will be, obviously, with all these fucking policies in place. I think I know what's inappropriate. What am I, a retard? I don't know what's appropriate for touching? I thought these companies wanted smart people working for them. Oh, affirmative action. Okay, so they got a lot of morons working for them that don't know what appropriate and inappropriate are. We hired a lot of stupid people. We need to pass these rules for dummies. Handshakes could be banned in the workplace as a way to avoid sexual harassment. Handshakes. Oh my, I don't get this. How is that? Again, how do people not know what appropriate and inappropriate are? I'm assuming a lot of these people went to university, and all people do at colleges are bitch and moan about the patriarchy and how evil men are, and well, it's inappropriate, and rape culture, and if you bump up against a wayman, that's rape. So, I don't know how people don't know what's inappropriate or not. By the way, that's not inappropriate. It's just, a way of women trying to turn themselves into victims by lowering the bar for what essentially qualifies you to be a victim. Ms. Palmer added the Me Too movement has forced employers to think about implementing more black and white policies. More? God. She told the Metro some employers may put a complete ban on physical contact. You know what some also might do? Stop hiring as many waymen. Did you ladies ever stop to think that might also be a consequence? No, because we put all these safeguards into the government that force employers to hire us. Yeah. Whether that's going too far or not is a question I would pose because it's contextual. Really? It's very interesting. Aren't the left the ones that say the context doesn't matter? I've heard them say this time and time again. Context doesn't matter. They employ different standards based on what they're talking about. If they're talking about something they don't like something Trump said, no context. Context doesn't matter. But if it's something they like, oh, well, there's this rich tapestry of multi-varied contextual colors. Okay. Unless it's an opinion or a policy you dislike, then no context. Does shaking someone's hand go too far? What is this? What's wrong with you people? What's going on here? What are you, all autistic or something? Are you like that fucking guy in Rain Man that if you touch him, he has a conniption fit and starts flailing around? What's wrong with you? No, it seems like the whole goal here is to isolate people as much as possible. I'm in a room full of people, but I feel like I'm all alone. Is that what they're trying to do here? It's just, Jesus Christ, it's not as if people aren't already isolated enough with fucking social media and online gaming. I mean, Jesus Christ, you could go weeks or months without talking to another fucking human being. Oh, but that's normal. That's normal. Jesus Christ. No, it's not normal. Oh, my God. This is crazy shit. This reminds me of a comment I saw on Facebook. This is just, as an aside, but it's kind of, related to what I'm talking about here. So some guy, I posted a comment. I don't remember what. I think it was about, something. And he said, that's normal. That's normal. No, I responded. I was very clear. I think I commented on something that was very dysfunctional and abnormal. And he said, well, that's normal. That's the new normal. But that's not normal. So when I use the term new normal, that is essentially the things that are dysfunctional, that are abnormal, that don't really work, that are being pushed on society en masse by the media, by the government, by education, through propaganda, through ideology, to try and replace that which is traditional and actually objectively normal for human beings and human behavior, okay? So I call that the new normal, but it's not normal, all right? Look, the idea that normal is just whatever is most prevalent, it's wrong. Normal is that which is normal in objective reality. That which maps to and corresponds to human behavior and what is, quote unquote, normal for humans in objective reality, okay? It's not just whatever you feel should be normal. Ah, boy. All right. So let's finish this story. So yes, it's contextual. Does shaking someone's hand go too far? Well, no. And by the way, if I put my hand out and somebody doesn't want to shake my hand, okay, but if you choose to shake my hand, how the fuck is that me harassing you sexually? Oh my God, can you imagine a woman complaining about sexual harassment because you wanted her to shake your hand and you held your hand out and you're being essentially polite? How you doing? My name is blah and your name is blah and you shake my hand and you feel so uncomfortable by that you go and complain to HR? Wow, you got some problems. You got some real problems. I see 100 cats in your future, okay? I see 100 cats and mounds of fucking cat shit in your house because you're too depressed and sad to clean it up. So it just piles up until it hits the ceiling and then you die of a horrible disease from all this cat shit. So she said a handshake is probably safe. Probably. I don't know what's unsafe about a fucking handshake. I don't know what gender studies course you're going to that's teaching you that a handshake could be problematic. What am I saying? These courses make no sense. Unless an employer bans it, then it's a rule that needs to be followed. Wait, what? I thought that all you leftists thought you were fucking revolutionaries. You think that fucking Che Guevara is great. This fucking guy who murdered thousands of people, men, women, and children just because they didn't agree with his ideology. Do you like communism? No! Boom! You're dead, bitch. Next. Got a big fucking pit here with 1,000 bodies. We're going to add to it if you don't agree with me. You all think you're a bunch of counter-revolutionaries and that the laws shouldn't apply if they don't adhere to your ideology. But now suddenly, the rules should be followed? Oh, but that's only the rules that you agree with, right? If they're rules you disagree with, then suddenly, rules don't matter. Anyway, it comes as 3 out of 4 people want a complete ban on physical contact in the workplace. What people are you talking to? They must be talking to all ugly fat women or something, right? who are angry and bitter that they're alone, so they want everybody else to be alone. And that's feminism, by the way. In a nutshell, according to a recent survey of 2,000 adults by Total Job. Well, they don't give a breakdown by age, by marital status, by relationship status, by sex. Well, you say 2,000 adults, men, women. What was the sex breakdown? What was the age breakdown? How many of these people were in relationships? They don't tell us. So we don't know what their biases were, or if you had any biases in regards to who you were asking. Miss Palmer, I mean, you could have been asking the fat, ugly biddy that doles the fucking mashed potatoes under the kids' fucking plates at the public middle school, okay, with the fucking hairnet on, and she's an old spinster, 60 years old, never had sex, hates men. Yeah, I don't know who you asked. It's crazy. Can somebody say confirmation bias? Miss Palmer added, putting a hand on someone's back or giving them a hug when they're upset could be too personal, and staff should be mindful of that kind of touch. Yeah, because we can't have human beings getting close and forming actual meaningful connections. Yeah, that could endanger us. You mean endanger the global elites that want us to be mindless sheep automatons that work and slave away just to pay them taxes? We're just a tax chattel for them. And the best way to achieve that is to have us separate from each other. Yeah, okay. She said the level of appropriate contact varies from person to person, but also from industry to industry. Yeah. For example, patting someone on the back on a construction site may be more acceptable than if it was an office. Oh boy, yes. The efforts to normalize nonsense continue. But this is not normal. How many people... let me open up the the Skype here if anybody wants to comment, all right? This is crazy. Handshakes are dangerous. Dangerous how? How are they dangerous? I mean, are they afraid that if people make physical contact, that there might be a spark and then the unthinkable might happen? Some guy and some gal might get together and boff and then have a relationship and then get married and have kids. Oh, no! That would be so unthinkable to the evil, angry cunts who are coming up with these nightmarish scenarios to ruin the lives of what were previously normal waymen. Makes me think of a meme video I saw recently of these pictures of before and after women. Like they had a before and then an after. Like this was her before feminism and this was her after. And like the before picture was a good-looking broad. And then the after picture was this ugly head shave fucking, 12 rings in her fucking nose, 27 earrings in each ear, got fat, armpit hair feminist with tattoos on her cheek and shit. That's what feminism does to women. Oh, boy, there are some evil, nasty kraut bitches out there. Big, fatty, Nazi, feminazi broads who just want to destroy the lives of what could possibly be normal, eventually happy women in stable relationships. Can't have that! Useful idiot broads. They don't seem to realize they're enforcing the wants and whims and wishes of the global elites, who only want to keep men and women apart because it makes us easier to control. There's no stable foundation of family to give children of those people a stronger mooring, a stronger foundation, a stronger moral foundation, a stronger sense of self, an ability to think for themselves. We don't want that. No. We want single mothers that teach boys to think with their feelings and not with their minds. Then we can manipulate and control them that much easier. So I think that's going to be it for this show, since nobody else wants to call in using Skype. If you'd like to be on a future broadcast as a guest, where it's a lot more of a solemn, serious atmosphere, where we'll delve into whatever issues, problems you might have, or whatever topic you want to discuss in a more philosophical, analytical nature, please feel free to send me an email at admin@therealistphilosopher.com. That's ADMIN at therealistphilosopher.com. Also, if you're watching this on DLive and you're commenting, but you're wondering, hey, why isn't this son of a bitch replying to my comments? It's because I don't. Okay, if I have too many windows open on my computer, it sucks away a lot of resources from my live streaming software, and then we can have drop frames, and then the broadcast isn't very good. So I do check those comments out after. Same thing for YouTube. So if you're watching on DLive and you have a question you'd like me to answer, or a comment, a subject you'd like me to address, make a small donation on DLive, and I'll address it in my next live stream. Also, please consider following me on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, and Instagram. You'll see all my social media accounts at the bottom of the page. I'm especially prolific on Facebook and Twitter. I do a lot of posting on those, so you can follow my comments to leftist nonsense there and interact with me if you want. And of course, again, the best way to get in touch with me is my email. Also, if you'd like to donate more directly, then go to DLive and join DLive. It's a very interesting site. It's a lot like YouTube, except you can actually say what you want and not get banned. You won't have the ban hammer come down on you. So I'm hoping more of you will go sign up there and watch me there. It also has a free and open donation system similar to Super Chat on YouTube, in that you can make donations to the person when they're live streaming, and even when their live stream is off. And you do it in the form of some kind of cryptocurrency they have. I don't know exactly how their cryptocurrency works, but you can buy coins using PayPal or a credit card. There's a number of different methods, and then you can dole those coins out in whatever denomination you want, based on how much you like the content producer, I guess. So that's a good way to make a one-time donation. If you'd like to support my show a little more seriously, please visit my website at therealistphilosopher.com/donate. That is therealistphilosopher.com/donate. And that's enough of my self-promotion. Hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you will tune in tomorrow. Same time, same channel. I am the Realist Philosopher, and I wish you a good day.